Hello, everybody. Welcome to Optimism Fractal. We're here at our 21st event, and we're having a great time, really. I'm here with Abraham and Zeugh and Rosemary and Gabriel and Will and Hodlon and three new participants here at Optimism Fractal, Zeus and Pup and Jimi from Tree Gens and Let's Grow. And there's Will too. Will's excited. Previously, we were having a great time saying Let's Grow and having fun like that. If anyone wants to say hello or share a couple quick words, I'm going to share a
Let's
presentation.
grow.
Let's grow.
Let's do it.
It sounds great. All right, there we go. Yeah. Will and Jimmy are doing great work with Let's Grow, and we're having fun here. So, all right, cool. So I'm going to share a quick presentation for anybody who's not familiar with Optimism Fractal. I'll show you what's up, and then we're going to play the respect game. If anyone wants to say anything else quick, then feel free. Otherwise, I'll hop into the presentation now, and I'll be pretty quick. Welcome. OptimismFractal.com is a place where you can learn about Optimism Fractal. It's a community dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods careers on optimism. And we're growing optimism to create an amazing future and experiences for all, doing really great stuff in the world. It's a great place. We hold weekly events where you can meet optimists and make friends and collaborate with many talented innovators in the collective. And our events are every Thursday. Everybody's welcome to join. We play a consensus game that's super helpful. It's called the Respect Game. Basically, we're going to go into breakout groups. I'll explain a bit more in a little while. Where each person will share what they've been doing to help optimism for 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll work to rank each other's contributions, and everybody will earn a soulbound token called Respect. And it's a great place to promote your work too, because we produce videos of each event too. So I encourage you to join, encourage you to watch the videos, encourage you to get involved. We're growing optimism and creating the optimistic vision, bringing it to reality. And we're also building tools that allow anybody to play games like the Respect Game and build consensus more effectively as well. So I encourage you to check it out. And each week we put out messages. Oh, look, I'm having a strange little bug here with X. But basically, each week we put out promotions. The Optimistics is the team that created Optimism Fractal. And we put up promotions there as well as on Warpcast, on Farcast. Rosemary puts out some great messages there. So I encourage you to like and retweet and help spread the word and invite your friends too. We love to meet new people and love to spread all the great stuff we're doing. You can find that lou.moss/Optimism Fractal. Every Thursday at 17 UTC, as I mentioned, and everybody's welcome to join. And we have a Discord as well where you can get involved and feel free to reach out with any questions and so forth throughout the week. And you can also find updates there. And also on the media page too, optimismfractal.com/media, you can watch all of our videos too. There's a couple YouTube channels where we post these too. We just released a video from the 15th event, Fractal Foresight and Optimistic Vision, asking what we see in the future of Optimism Fractal. And after playing the Respect Game, then we brainstormed and thought about all sorts of cool stuff for the future. Very curious to hear what everybody thinks Optimism Fractal should be in the future. And we also have a consensus process that we came up with and initiated about a couple months ago. And so you can learn more about this consensus process and how we can actually create that future and coordinate together by watching these videos on the YouTube channel. All the videos have timestamps too, so you can check it out and get involved and just see all the presentations and all the great stuff going on too. Encourage you to check it out. We're going to be doing a planning session after too. So the respect game will last until the top of the hour. And then what we do after, for anybody who can stick around or wants to, no need, of course, but we have a planning session where we can coordinate and brainstorm the future of Optimism Fractal and generally talk about optimism related topics too. So feel free, that'll last for a half hour longer for anybody who wants to stick around after the respect game. And this week's event, I think it'd be good to discuss. I know that Zaal had mentioned last week that he wants to discuss a topic about creating new consensus games and giving new forms of respect and implementing the respect game with musicians. So that I think will probably be discussed in the planning session, but also if anybody has other topics in mind too, then I'm very happy to hear it. And we have several new people here too. So very happy to hear everybody's feedback and what people think and the best ways that we can provide the best experiences for you. And we do also have the council that was elected for this week too on the snapshot page. So this council, you can see the 4 people who are registered now, and we'll be putting out the council for next week pretty soon. So if you want to participate in helping to make decisions and so forth of the community, then you can. We also post the updates and like little stories basically to give updates on the Optimism forum, gov.optimism.io. So you can check it out here too. We've been doing a lot of work on the Notion page, which provides a lot of places where you can get involved and contribute to Optimism Fractal. And there's also a great announcement about RetroFunding too. And the 6-month anniversary of Optimism Fractal is coming up soon. So some cool stuff that I figured I just put out there for now. And of course, we could talk more about that later. And you can see all the details about how it works here. I'm just about done with the presentation, but I have a couple quick things I want to share. I mentioned that RetroFunding was just announced, so I just want to put this out as kind of a public service announcement. As far as I'm aware, RetroFunding is the largest public goods funding mechanism in the world, or at least it's very large, and it supports immense amount of great public goods. So there's just an announcement from Optimism. There's going to be the next 4 rounds of RetroFunding coming out over the next next 7 months or so, with 850 million OP. So recommend you all to check it out on the Optimism Twitter account, and we also reposted it from the Optimistics too. The next one coming up is for on-chain builders. So people who help bring people on chain and build great stuff on the super chain. We can talk more about that afterwards. Happy to get into it, but just want to let everybody know this is a way that you can contribute to Optimism Fractal or many other initiatives in the Optimism Collective and earn funding by doing so. And looking forward to get into it. And of course, if you don't know what optimism is, check out optimism.io. Building a world that benefits all and owned by none. Really great stuff going on. Building the future of the internet together with the super chain. And there's also a great optimistic vision about creating a better future, really, and open internet. Lastly, I wanted to mention too, I mentioned the Notion page. We've been doing some updates to the Notion page, and so now you have some resources you can find and learn more about the different things that are going on Optimism Fractal and lots of projects that we have. And there's also been a developer console that's been released too for Optimism. So anybody who's interested in technical development, recommend checking that out. And I also put together a developer hub too with lots of things related to development of Optimism Fractal too for anybody who wants to see that. We're also aiming to start finishing the breakout room sooner. So we're going to try, if you're able to, no rush, but if you're able to finish the breakout rooms 5 or 10 minutes early, that would be cool. So we have some more time in the community room before the planning session. So encourage you if you're able to do it quickly. But we have a lot of new people here too, so feel free to take your time in the breakout room too. And one thing that we've been working on is creating a system for recording and publishing all the breakout groups too. I think we might have 3 today. And we just put up a database too where we have videos. Rosemary put up some of her videos too. So working to produce videos from each event and create a really cool way to produce videos together. So if anybody wants to record, then feel free, and I think I gave permissions to everybody to record, but I encourage everybody to do so if you'd like, and you can upload it there. So this has been a rather long presentation, but thanks for sticking with me and hope you're enjoying it. We're about to go into play the respect game in breakout rooms. Basically, the way it works is we're going to go into groups of 3 to 6 people, and then each person is going to take up to 4 minutes to share what they've been doing to help Optimism over the past week or just recently. And also just feel free to introduce yourself too. And if you're new to Optimism or don't know much about Optimism, then just feel free to introduce yourself. Everybody's welcome to join, even if you're not currently contributing a lot to Optimism. Just being here, you're very welcome and much appreciated. So yeah, basically everybody's going to share what they did to help Optimism or introduce themselves in 4 minutes, and then we'll work to reach consensus on who helped Optimism the most, the second most, the third most, the fourth most, and so forth. And then if we can reach 2/3 consensus and signal on chain with the tools that we have built called Fractogram, then everybody will earn respect. And if you help more and you get a higher rank, then you earn more respect. You can learn more details about this on a article, optimistics.io/respect game, where you can see tutorial videos and more details here. And of course, feel free to ask the people in your breakout group too, or in the Discord if you have any questions along the way. And we're happy to help you do it. It's a very fun game and also a great way to create public good. So hope that everybody enjoys. Thanks everybody so much for being here. And I suppose we'll get into the breakout rooms as well now. Whew, that was a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have how many people do we have? We have 10 people here. Thank you for the kind words and the claps and stuff. Really appreciate that. We have 10 people. So we're going to go into 2 different breakout rooms, and each breakout room will have 5 people. So I'm starting these up now and hope that everyone has a wonderful time.
Hey, you got
Hello.
Abraham in the breakout. What's up, Zeugh? Oh, Dan. Hodlon.
Hey,
Hello.
hey,
All right.
Yeah.
What's
All
up,
right.
guys?
What's going on?
See you.
You're good to see you too.
Yeah, dude, great. That was amazing. You riddled through that fast, but a lot of really cool content. I love what you guys have done here at Fractal. It's amazing. Really cool stuff.
Gosh, I am amazed by how you're able to speak fast and clearly at the same time. If I try to speak at that speed, there's no chance anyone can understand what I'm saying.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very kind. I'm sure you could, Zeugh. You spoke really well. I mentioned before we started recording, I listened to you speak on Jimi's episode of Let's Grow that happened just yesterday or 2 days ago. You're talking with Danny about what you're doing at Blockful and optimizing human coordination, and you sounded great there. It was fascinating learning what you're building. And Jimi's an awesome host too, obviously. So I try. I've been practicing a lot, and hopefully it makes sense. But I appreciate all the feedback very much.
Thank you, man. Right on. Right on. Speaking of which, we should get you on Max Impact.
Yes.
But But yeah, cool. So how does this work? Who goes first?
Whoever wants to go first can go first. If you have any questions, if anything wasn't clear, then feel free to ask. But otherwise, if you want to go first, or if anybody else wanted to volunteer to go first, then basically whoever wants to go first can go first. And feel free to share your screen too, by the way, if you want. Everybody has permission to share your screen. So if you wanted to share like visually what you're doing, then you can pull up some tabs and share it while you're doing it as well. That's something that I forgot to mention, but that's very welcome to do so if you'd like. Or if you want to just talk and just share what you're doing, then whatever works.
Okay, I guess I can go first. Might not be a lot of news if all of you are listening to the episode. But I've been working in Blockful. There's this dev, originally a dev house, working as service providers for different protocols, which has recently turned our focus. We've recently turned our focus towards building public goods, and in that journey, we have been with some new products that we're playing with on the areas of reputation. Now the new one on AI governance, and the other one is private voting. We've been on those products mostly and still in the research stage, and OP has been one of the main, the collective has been one of the main points that we're basing our research. Mostly ARB, OP, and ENS at this point have been our main points of focus to understand what we can build to actually improve the coordination of what we're doing. I've been particularly focused and excited about the AI governance part. We took part on the hackathon on Ethereum Samba in Rio this last week. We built this simple as possible tool for creating AI delegates. So creating the possibility of governance that is a mix between humans and AI. We see a lot of takes on AI governance of having DAOs that are directly connected to an AI that will make the choices for us, and we see that as a step a bit too much of a big step for the stage that we are with AI and with governance. So a lot of work to do before we get to a point where that's viable. So we're taking the view of multiple different AI delegates, all trained on top of a common base of DAO knowledge. So we're training that initial model on top of all the discussions on the forum. So we partner with DAO Space that has this beautiful way of getting everything that's going on discourse and bringing that as data for us. So we bring the discourse, the DAO constitution or documentation, and past proposals, create this initial base model. And from there, anyone can create specific prompts on how the AI should vote, and that becomes a new delegate, a new profile. So let's say I can create a new profile that says vote to support public goods. Your goal is to read the proposals and understand if that's allocating resource toward public goods and vote so that happens. Or you can be greedy and look for profit, or you can look for protocol improvement, or you can look for voting no every time that Zeugh's name is mentioned in the proposal. Just don't make any proposal related to Zeugh pass. So anyone can create this however they want. We're post-hackathon now trying to understand how to improve the AI part as we use GPT on the hack for short time reasons. So now we're doing that research on what alternatives to GPT we could use for AI to make that more reliable, more verifiable. And well, my week
time, we've
has...
only got 40 seconds left. Are we supposed to cover
I know.
everything in this time, or is this per? Is everyone supposed to?
Oh no,
It's per person.
each person gets 4 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is perfect. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Okay, got it.
Dude, you take all the time.
Sorry,
Such kidding.
You
I
took
was like, wait a
15 of
minute.
my
I'm
seconds.
gonna skip forward for about 30 seconds. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, feel free to go
Okay.
sooner.
Alright,
Feel free to go longer, no
Go
problem.
ahead,
It's all good. So this week the focus is understanding how to improve that and to bring some experiments this week or next one. Start bringing some first live tests that should be voting on ENS, and then from there also on OP soon enough if possible. I'm actually taking the role inside Blockful to be our touch point with Optimism Collective. So if you guys have any tips of where to get more information, what are the hottest discussions right now? I've been spending a lot of time reading the forum, and that's been a lot of my week. I would really appreciate any tips on what is hot beyond the retro PGF right now that should get some attention for someone who's trying to understand better the dynamics on the collective's governance. That's it on my side, guys.
I like the governance AI stuff. I have a friend that just spun up a fun little project doing that. It was the first time I had heard of it, and it's a really cool concept. So it's cool hearing about what you're doing.
Thank you. If you'd be if it would be okay to share that project, we're doing as much benchmarking as we can. So other projects in those similar areas are very interesting to me right now.
Yeah, I'll share it in the Discord if you're in there.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I'll also share a link to the Discord too, so you can find it if you're not there, and welcome you to join. And also, if you want to share any links, Zeugh or anybody else too, if you want to share links in the Discord and or the Zoom chat, then feel free to do so. You're very welcome to do it. And yeah, that works super exciting. So thanks so much, Zeugh. And I'll also share. There's one that I've heard of too that I spoke with the founder of called Harmonica. That seemed like it might be kind of related to, so I'll share it in case you're interested. Would you like to pick somebody to go next, Zeugh?
Yeah, I'll popcorn Hodlon to go next.
Great, thank you. Cool. Let me know if you can't hear me very well. I'm just out on the streets. So, yeah. Feel free to start the timer whenever. Yep. Cool.
Just started.
Okay, so I've been collaborating with, it is a HATS HeroCast PSE. So I work at PSE, privacy scaling and explorations, building privacy tools, doing a lot of cryptography, cryptographic stuff. And so for our comms, we're collaborating with HeroCast. There's a HATS HeroCast collaboration, and then PSE was working with them to do a delegated Farcaster account. And so it's kind of one of the first of its kind. I think like it just hasn't been able to exist before, and that was coming together. So we were helping them work out those bugs. And that's been a couple weeks ongoing, but we finally got it to work this last week, which was really exciting. It was really exciting for everyone. So now we can delegate different people within the organization, give them a hat, and they can post on the PSE, official PSE Farcaster, which is cool. And then the hats, I have a lot of hat stuff. Hats held a meme contest this last week to engage their community, the hats community. That was a lot of fun. I got carried away with that and had a lot of fun doing that. And it's being voted on right now, I think, the last couple hours, but they were using Joker Race. And yeah, that was very fun. Dan is laughing. Dan voted and participated and probably saw a lot of the memes that I was making and posting in the hats community chat.
Really good.
And then, thank you. Yeah, I got more coming. I'm just getting warmed up. But it's cool. It's interesting to see the ways that they are attempting to kind of engage their community, and what's working and what's not. So that's something for us to keep in mind as well. It'd be fun to do something like that. And then I was chatting with the Hats team just earlier about this idea, Dan, that I've been talking about, bringing up to you, that I'm trying to articulate and get down on paper, but essentially it's kind of an integration, a governance integration between, so Optimism Fractal integrating Hats in turn earns like the soulbound governance tokens of the Hats proto DAO for doing that. It's kind of like an interlocking, interrelated, back and forth type of thing that I've been thinking about for a while. And so I'm getting closer to articulating that, but I was talking with the Hats team about that earlier today and what that would look like. It's kind of interesting. And then I was just on Farcaster complaining about how it doesn't work. I'm like locked out of my Farcaster account. Really, I can't. The client I was using isn't working anymore. And the way that the architecture is set up, it doesn't allow me to use Warpcast. So it's been a long saga of many, many months of trying to figure out how to get that to work. And it's working less now than it was then. So I kind of got salty earlier and went on a cast rant about how their architecture is fucked. Was complaining about it. And yeah, that's everything for me. Thank you very much. Abraham, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, sorry. I was just clicking on something. Yeah, that sounds great, Hodlon. I'm excited about just the whole Hats protocol. From knowing how cumbersome it is to do role-based authentication and responsibility in some of the applications I've built in the past. So yeah, I guess let me start with just I've been looking at the Hats protocol, researching how that works and trying to figure out, I think it's going to be really foundational in a lot of the software that I will be developing in the future, just because having roles that you can reassign easily, like clusters of roles, groups of roles, is really powerful. And I think in a lot of times in organizations, it's actually really hard to do that. Like where if you have someone is a Google administrator, a Jira administrator, and some other type of administrator, to have all those permissions somehow bundled and not have to like set them all up individually is like amazing. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then in the periphery, I've been working on just kind of going through some of Optimism Fractal's dev stuff, trying to figure out where I can contribute there, if I can do some coding of some kind. Let me share my screen. I've got some other stuff going on. Specifically, where is this share thing?
There should be a green button at the bottom that says share screen.
Thanks. Yeah, I have so many different clients. It's just like get
Yep.
lost sometimes. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. All right. So the main thing that that I work on sort of outside of my regular job is I work with a group in Pakistan, and I have been helping to provide education services for kids that are in these rural labor camps. And so the idea here is really A, to help them, and B, to fight terrorism, because they're right on the border with Afghanistan and also Iran. So like I think that having a force for good in that area is really powerful and really, really awesome. So what we're doing is we're taking kids to school with rickshaws. So we've funded, like crowdfunded a couple of rickshaws, and we're picking kids up from rural areas where they won't get education and busing them into public schools. And there's a couple of problems that I'm trying to solve in that area. Mainly, a lot of these people are basically enslaved because they have, they make bricks in the summertime, and then in the wintertime when it rains, they don't get paid. So they have to take out loans from their landowner, and then the rates that they charge for these loans, or for having children, they have to have a procedure done or something like that. And basically, they're just in incredible amounts of debt, which, for USD, it's probably not a lot of debts. Probably most of them are in $1,000 to $10,000 worth of debt. But the problem is that they can't get out of the debt, and they basically have to be a brick worker their whole life. They don't have other options. So what I'm trying to do is develop a system by which we can issue RFID cards, and a website that someone can log into and take photos, and actually get these people logged in, and they can start to form credit unions locally, and they can contribute a small amount, and then someone in the US will offer to add a multiplier to that fund, and then they can actually restructure their debt to these local credit unions instead of being in debt to these landlords. And so my idea is to build a React app that does that. And I'm going to use the Optimism chain, and also probably OpenZeppelin, and probably HATS protocol, and a couple of other things, a couple of other technologies to do that. So I've gotten this working. There's like a capture app. So basically they're going to be able to take a picture of the person. They're going to send the metadata over to an on-chain data, like a contract where they store their identity and stuff. So that's the long and short of it. But there's more to tell, but that's enough for the time.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Abraham. Oh, you saying something there, Jimmy?
Oh, I just love it. Sounds like a really cool cause. I wish you well.
Thanks, man.
Likewise. I see Zeugh also putting up the heart. Very nice to see. Very heartwarming. Abraham, would you like to pick somebody to go next? Would you want to pick Jimmy or me to go next?
Well, Jimmy's right beside me, so I think I'm gonna go with Jimmy.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Sam. Okay, let me tell you the high level of what we're building at TreeGens, and something we've done this week specifically. So we're building a world where anyone can plant trees and get rewarded. So we're starting with mangrove trees because they absorb 8 to 10 times more carbon out of the atmosphere compared with all terrestrial forests. They're great for biodiversity, a lot of great things. And so we're tokenizing mangrove tree regeneration through something called proof of plant. So similar to proof of stake, where tokens are at stake when to do verification work. Our DAO governance token that we're going to launch on Optimism, called TGN, will be staked, and basically the DAO members will get 3 pieces of data. One is a video of the land before, the other is a video of the land after the trees are planted, and the GPS coordinates. And so we're building a DApp right now with we just this week formalized a collaboration with General Magic to do our front end and user experience, and so that's gonna be really cool. So yeah, just all in app, they can learn how to plant, how to film the trees, and capture that data. Even if they don't have internet connection, if they're out in the field, they can still film in app, and the data will be stored in the app until they get to a point of good internet connection to upload everything. And so there's that. Then they get the mangrove tokens called mgrow, and they can sell that immediately or stake it to get retroactively rewarded. So we plan to share any retro PGF funding we get or Gitcoin funding we get, and we're also planning to leverage carbon forward revenue. So where we sell the future value of carbon credits in the short term at a discounted price, but still an order of magnitude more than what it costs us currently to plant mangrove trees. So we can multiply the trees, take a portion of the revenue, share it with the tree planters, make people bullish on regeneration. And we're also gamifying tree planting through leaderboards and the world's first dynamic semi-soulbound token. This is an NFT that is dynamic in 2 ways. There's a light on the mind and there's a light on the heart. And the light on the mind gets brighter when you fund trees, and the light on the heart gets brighter when you plant trees. And we know that you've funded trees when you basically retire the mgrow token. So you can see in a globe interface, we also just formalized a collaboration with Sylvie Protocol to map out all the videos. So you can see all the videos of the trees, and you're basically like buying that non-fungible update. So it's a video NFT that you get to own when you burn these mgro tokens. So this will be for like companies that want to make an environmental claim, like, hey, look, we planted 1 million trees. Great. Well, they can buy 1 million mgro tokens, get these NFT videos, and their NFT will like level up as well. So an individual can do this, a company can do this. It levels up, gets brighter when you retire the mgro tokens, or when the mgro tokens are issued to your wallet. That's how we know that you planted the trees, and that's when that light gets brighter. So it's dynamic in 2 ways, and it's semi-soul bound because you can still trade the artwork, you know, and then there's secondary royalties that still continuously makes an impact. But those impact metrics, the light and the mind and the heart, those are non-transferable. And so it's semi-soul bound in that case, because, you know, we're gamifying tree planting. So we don't want someone to, you know, buy the high score. And so, so that's a dynamic semi-soul bound token. We're releasing that after we launch TGN, our governance token, and mGrow, our mangrove regeneration token, on Earth Day. I'm gearing up to personally break the world record for most trees planted in a day by one person on Earth Day. It's like 3 and a bit weeks away. So yeah, we're getting official Guinness World Record person here, and that's when we're going to launch the MVP of Proof of Plant. So I'm really excited for it, coming up soon. Let's grow. All right, and 2 more seconds. Done. All right. Oh, you got the tree emoji? I didn't even know that was an option. Sick, dude.
There we go. Yeah, so Rose for me was showing the tree emoji. I hadn't seen it until today, so I think maybe you inspired us or the Zoom makers or whatever to have the tree now emoji. Oh, that's all.
There we go.
There we go.
We got one.
There we go. I gotta find that too.
This is gonna be a thing now on Zoom. I love it.
Yeah, people watching on Zoom
Amazing.
people watching on YouTube can't see right now, but we have tree emojis and clapping up over here and so forth.
Okay.
Jimmy, how is the public nouns funding coming along for the tree planting?
It got approved. It got approved.
Great.
Yeah, we got funded.
Sweet.
So yeah, there's a lot of cost to fly the Guinness people over here to make sure we have a really good video team. You know, Guinness World Records said they would post the content on all their socials, which has tens of millions of followers, as long as it's high enough content. So we're gonna get a really good video team. And yeah, I need a whole big team to collect all the propagules and everything. So that was amazing. We just got that funded. And so all the things are coming together to make this Earth Day really impactful, and ultimately that's going to be a stepping stone towards breaking the next world record, Earth Day 2025. Most number of trees planted by any number of people. That's 560 million. Just one country, Ethiopia, set that record, and we want to grow the movement and form some massive partnerships between now and then. You know, in part due to this record that I'm about to set, it'll help us get those big partnerships to make history next Earth Day. So let's grow.
Let's grow. This sounds great. Well, thanks so much, Jimmy. That's super inspiring, and everybody's contributions have been super inspiring as well too. So really appreciate you sharing that and all the great work that you're doing, Jimmy. Thanks so much, and looking forward to seeing you smash those records and fill the world with more trees. Okay, cool. So I suppose I'll go now, and I'll share what I've been up to. Start my timer over here, and I'll share now. Okay, cool. All right, so I've been working a lot with Optimism Fractal and Optimystics, which is the team that's doing a lot of development for Optimism Fractal and hosting these events and so forth. And I've been working a lot in this Optimism Fractal Notion site that I mentioned before. I did a little bit of reorganization just to add the resources at the top, just to make it a bit easier to see, and then add a bit more like kind of like instructions. And I added tags to each one of the different projects that's to make it easier to sort, and then provided some details about how people could sort that, so that a lot of people are interested in helping out in various ways, but now there's like a whole bunch of projects that people can help out with, and there's a lot of work to do. I started writing a post, or actually I should mention too that I created a developer hub, like kind of a first draft of it, where I just organized all of the different development specific tasks, because there's a lot of development that could be done that could be super helpful. So just all the ones that are tagged as like development things are all here now too. So this is something I've been working on pretty constantly for past several months now, and it's starting to come together. I started to put together an announcement post for Developers Hub, as well as just following up in the development channel in Optimism Discord with a response to Hodlon and a person who joined asking about Frax, and then mentioning about the retro PGF and stuff like that, and introducing it. And I'm also planning to respond to Nestor, who joined last week's meeting and is interested in helping out with integrating the Respect game with EAS. So working a lot on these kind of technical projects, helping to like project manage and organize as well as I can. And I made a bunch of projects too. I probably made like 7 projects over the past week. One is to create a Notion API integration that allows upvoting in Notion with Respect. So people can upvote topics with Respect. And I did a bunch of research and organized some prior research. There's like tasks for each of these two where you can like click in and like see like different ideas that I've written here, or sometimes I talk with ChatGPT and took pictures. So each one of these have like different tasks that might be helpful for people who are doing these projects. I also made one about implementing Robert's rules that Zaal had suggested. Sometimes I just kind of just after somebody makes a comment, I just put together a quick project like that. I've been working to improve the Optimistics website as well with Rosemary or the Optimism Fractal website, both of them actually to make them more mobile friendly, and do some other things with CSS, create some educational resources and community resources for the Optimism Collective as a whole. I put together a calendar of events and I sent it with Gabriel before so people can find all sorts of events. And I should add the Let's Grow and Max Impact and stuff like that too. I just started to add some there. And I'm sure there's many others I should add too, but I just started with that. I made some other projects, planning for the anniversary of Optimism Fractal, and it's taking a while to load. Creating a seasonal structure. I had some ideas about how we can sync this with the upcoming season of Retro PGF as well, which I think could be really exciting, and have some ideas I can share there. And then, yeah, basically more ideas, more projects and tasks related towards all these different things that we can grow. So, and that we can build together Optimism Fractal. So I won't share too much more here, but just kind of giving like a high level overview of these different things that I've been up to. One thing that I've been working on a lot over the past week or so is building a Respect game app, or at least supporting the developers on the Optimistics team to build a Respect game app. Thank you for the heart. And so I've been researching Alchemy and account abstraction a lot to figure out how we can make it so people can do gasless transactions and sign in with like email, so we can bring the Respect game to make it easy for many other communities to play, working with a community of at least a few hundred people who want to start playing. So I've been working on coordinating that and learning about these tools. I built up like a really simple kind of draft and logo and idea for a Respect game, and then explored this from Alchemy where people can like start playing really easily. So I've been drafting that out as well as doing research and then sharing information about all these different things. And then also I mentioned about following up about EAS integrations. And so I wrote a lot of ideas about how we can create schemas for the Ethereum attestation service for the Respect game. And some of these messages I didn't get a chance to share yet, but I'll be sharing in the Optimism Fractal Discord briefly with more details. And then I only have like 15 seconds left, so I'll try to wrap it up quickly. But I also host Eden Fractal each week, and we're discussing strategies and so forth to help bring these innovations with Respect game and spread them all over throughout society. And so I discussed that a little bit, as well as promoted optimism there. Everybody's welcome to join those on Wednesdays. And then also I spoke with Will a lot over the past week, who's also working at Let's Grow with Jimi. And I looked into Let's Grow a lot. I listened to the episode that Zeugh had, or well, Danny and Zeugh, about Blockful innovations. And I shared a comment about that in an Eden Fractal chat with Jimi and with Will. And I was looking into the Let's Grow network, which isn't loading right now. And I've been working on creating a promotional strategy to really expand to like promote to the base community, other communities as well as put out some promotions on Twitter, and gave a lot of feedback and worked with Rosemary on making these promotions as well. That's it for now. I went 20 seconds over, or 30 seconds, so my apologies for going over. If anybody has, I hope you enjoyed. If anybody has any questions or comments for anybody that would help you reach consensus for the Respect game, then feel free to share. This has been wonderful and super inspiring to see everybody. So I just want to express deep thanks for everybody doing amazing work. Really appreciate it. And I'll start up the Fractogram group too, so we can start playing the consensus game in there.
We had a stacked group today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's often difficult to say like who should be level 6, who should be 5, and so forth. But I have immense respect for everything that everybody's doing here. I appreciate everybody putting out the hearts, by the way, and stuff like that. So just much respect to everybody. Yeah, now that I was saying, if anybody has any questions for anybody or anything you want to ask, that'd be helpful, then feel free to share. And I'm also putting together the link. I'll actually share it in the Zoom chat right now. So this link, I think that I'm not sure if Zeugh you tried it, because I know that when you joined last month, you had to leave early, and I think you did before we reached consensus. But I remember you joined the group. So I just shared in the Zoom chat a Telegram link, and I invite everyone to join. Also, Jimi, you haven't used this before, I don't believe. So the way it works is that when you click that link, you're going to be joining a Telegram group. And this is the Fractalgram client that the DOS built, who's one of the developers on Optimystics, which makes it so we can do polls for who we think should be level 6, 5, and 4, and so forth, which is basically 6 is like the top first place who did the most to help, and 5 is second place, and so forth. So I'll make those polls, but first what I'll do is I'll put out a prompt for everybody to respond with their account, because then when you respond with your Optimism account to that message, then when we do the polls, then it'll make it so you can automatically, it'll automatically compile it. You push one button, and then it'll open up a website with all that pre-filled, so you can push it on chain. So if everybody, I think, not sure if everybody has joined yet. I think Hodlon, you haven't joined yet. So if Hodlon, you can join, and if everybody can do what Abraham did there and add your account
I'm
there.
juggling devices. I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah, just for anybody who hasn't done it before, it must be a reply to Dan's message. It can't just be like a chat message. You have to like right click on it or whatever on his message to put in your address.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, Abraham. That is correct.
Awesome. Those are a lot of nice projects. I don't know what to do with that.
Did you already, this is OF21. Did you already post the message to reply to?
Yes. Did you not see it?
So nope. So
Oh,
Telegram,
yep.
Telegram is default.
I forgot about that.
Doesn't
Yep.
show messages, which is annoying.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I just posted again. I don't think that Abraham and Zeugh need to repost it. I'm pretty sure it'll work out
Cool.
smoothly. So now we just need me and Jimi to post the response.
Okay, on it. Hopefully my phone doesn't die. I'm on 3% battery, even though it's charging. I know it's going up. You can't do ENS, right? It's got to be the full wallet address.
Yeah, currently ENS doesn't work. I know that Zeugh's team with Blockful just had a proposal, I think, approved for ENS scaling on Optimism. So maybe Zeugh will be able to help us out with that soon. But right now it's a little bit, it's not perfect.
That was my first thought. Oh, it doesn't do ENS? Oh, well, where's the code?
Well, we would greatly appreciate if you could help with that. The code, the code for this is all open source, and I could share a link with you, or you can find optimistics.io/tools or that developer page that I mentioned, and I could share that in the chat here or reach out to you. And yeah, we greatly appreciate if you can help with that.
Let me get that. I'll get it if I go to the Optimistic page. I should find it there, right?
Yeah, if you go to optimistics.io and then you search for and you go to the tools page, it's on the top bar. If you go to optimistics.io/tools, then if you search for the word repository or repositories, then you'll find it there. Or if you prefer, I could just share you the link in a little while too.
Yeah, it's true. I'll poke around here. It's good that I get to poke the website with intention.
Okay.
It's easier to go poking when you have an intention than when you're just curious.
Okay, cool. Well, sounds great. Thank you. And yeah, feel free to reach out if there's anything you do to help. And yeah, that page needs to be updated a bit. I mean, it has a lot of great resources there, but and I update it occasionally, but the Notion page has like the most current progress on different things. So I'll also maybe share the link with you so you could poke around there if you want. And I suppose one other thing I mentioned too is we are working, I mentioned briefly in my my presentation, but we're also working to integrate Privy, make it so people can sign in with like their email or stuff like that too, which would be a different setup and also a different app, but that might be something worth considering too, because there's kind of two different apps. There's Fractalgram and then there's another Respect game app coming out soon, but I can follow up with more details about that later. All right, so I just made a poll and it says who should be ranked as level 6 and has each person's name there. And now you can pick who you think did the most to help Optimism over the past week. And yeah, feel free, like we were saying, like there's a lot of like people doing amazing work here too. So not too much pressure, just do your best to pick whoever you think did the most to help. And then it's kind of a long-term game too, because people can come back in future weeks and so forth. And everybody deserves a lot of respect and it kind of averages out over time. It's kind of a long-term game.
Dan, is there any issue to changing level 6 to level 1, like flipping them around? Maybe this isn't a conversation we need to have right now, but it throws people off every time, and it throws me off every time to start at 6 when you're ranking people like the number 1 contributor. It's number 6, and the second contributor is number 5.
Yeah, it's very unintuitive, and I think we should change it. It was like that because it used to have multiple rounds where like you'd have the level 6 from one round go to a next round and play with all the level 6 people. And so there'd be a second round. And so people could be like level 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we haven't really done that, and that takes extra time. And so I think it's kind of an outdated thing, and we should change it to first place, second place. I think it will just make it a lot easier. But it's just a matter of asking Tadas to reprogram the app and then kind of like just remembering to say it differently.
Looks like we have consensus on Jimi.
Okay. So actually, no, we don't. We don't have consensus on Jimi. Jimi has 60. He has 3 out of 5. He has 60%. But in order to have consensus, you need at least 66%. So if anybody wants to switch to Jimi, then like Jimi voted for Abraham, for example. Jimi, you can change your vote to yourself. Or I think Hodlon voted for Zeugh, so you could change. Oh, I think Hodlon just changed to Jimi. So Jimi got level 6. Congrats, Jimi, and thank you.
Hey, thank you so much,
split
guys.
between
Much
Jimi.
love.
I was split between Jimi anyway, so give it to him.
Aw, shucks. Thanks, man. Wow, my first meeting, I got a 6. What? I love this fractal thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing, James. So I'm glad you got 6.
You guys, means a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, and also in case it wasn't clear too, the way it works is that every level gets about 60% more respect. So level 6 gets 55 respect, and level 6 gets 55 respect, and 5 gets 34 respect, and so forth, and 21 respect, 13 respect, 8 respect. That can always be changed in the future, but that's kind of like the idea. So you get a bit more from being a high level each time.
Very cool.
Pretty evenly distributed.
Yep, and somebody hasn't voted. I don't think we have a vote from Jimi yet.
Choose wisely, Jimi.
he choose Abraham and also
Oh,
Zeugh.
and then
What's that?
You just spread it. You just spread it even more evenly.
I know. That's not wise. You didn't do the wise thing. Here, I mean, you're all amazing. Wait. So we need consensus?
We need to have at least, not everybody, but we need to have at least 66% consensus, which in our case is 4 out of 5. And we have 2 out of 5 for Abraham, 2 out of 5 for Zeugh, and 1 out of 5 for me right now. So if anyone wants to advocate either way to share why they voted for who they voted for, or if anyone wants to switch their vote, then feel free to do so. Now's a good time to do.
Well, I did vote for Abraham because I think that real world impact is kind of the goal from our collective like coordination on chain. So when you get to use the things we're building to make something in real life, it's in my brain worth more than building the things that walk towards that. That's the end goal. So that's got my vote.
Thank you.
Good points. Well said. The votes are still the same. Go ahead.
I'm obviously also really all about impact. But Abraham, how much has been developed so far? Is this far along, early stages? I don't know if I missed that part.
It's pretty early stages. So I've got, we're tracking a lot of the information about the kids and the rickshaws and stuff on spreadsheets currently. And then the development, I'm really like, I'm putting together this app that has the camera in it. And like, I haven't done smart contracts yet. But I do have, I do have a real group of people that will be participating and, all that kind of stuff. I also have an organization on the ground there that will help me to be an intermediary. But yeah, as far as the software goes, it's still very early.
This is why my vote went for Zeugh, is because Abraham, because it is early on, and I'm looking forward to prioritizing that in future rounds as you're building that out. And then Zeugh, it seemed like there was a lot of stuff that was like, even though it was like the tools to build the real world stuff was like stuff that was like being more immediately kind of being built. So that's why I went with Zeugh over Abraham.
And then
Dan?
Abraham, are you exclusively launching on Optimism?
That's the intention.
Okay, and Zeugh, you're multi-chain, right? Or for different ecosystems?
it's the AI part is off chain. The part that's on
Right.
chain is the delegates, so you can put it whatever you are. Yeah.
But it's 4 different ecosystems. Optimism is one.
Yeah.
I want to hear Dan. I want to hear Dan's reasoning.
Okay. Well, I'll try to go quick too, because technically we're supposed to finish by the top of the hour. If we go a little bit over, that's okay too. But I'll try to be quick so we can reach consensus quick. I had voted for Zeugh, partially because I also really appreciate what Zeugh did when he spoke a couple like last month, and just the work you're doing with Blockful in general is like really exciting, I think. And I also really enjoyed your podcast that you did with Jimi, where you explained that how you won the hackathon. I think that's just a really cool and helpful tool. And yes, I really appreciate what you're doing. But then I was also thinking of switching to Abraham too, because Abraham has been. I really love that Abraham's been looking into the Optimism Fractal, they helping to build these different tools, and I know he's been like being really thoughtful about that and helping out with the Eden Fractal too, and showing like that visual showing of what you're doing with that community in real world too is like super helpful and super inspiring. So I was thinking about switching over to Abraham. I was kind of like I was kind of caught between both of them, and so after Zeugh said he was going to go, he recommended Abraham, and I was about to switch to Abraham.
Yeah,
but I'd be happy to go either way. But
Dan, I will switch to Abraham if you switch to Abraham.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I'll switch to Abraham.
But you have to promise to vote for Zeugh in the next round.
I'm 100% voting for Zeugh in next round. Yes.
Who should be ranked as level 5?
I kind of like. I also voted for Dan just because I know Dan is working really, really hard on so many different things. This Notion site is amazing.
This is what I'm saying. We're stacked.
The coordination is amazing. Like I've never seen somebody who can be so kind and respectful when running meetings. And you know, I know probably Dan also already has a lot of respect, but I just thought that I would throw that out there.
Thank you, Abraham. That's very, very kind of you, and I really appreciate it.
Respect, Dan.
Thank you, Jimmy. Respect to everybody. Immense respect. Okay.
That's cool. Do we have objective criteria we're supposed to follow, or it's like a vibe check kind of thing?
It's 5 checks objective. If people want to do it like objectively, we can. If anybody wants to have metrics, but it's up to each person what they want to use, basically.
Yep. And then it becomes it's a reflection of the group, right? So it's however the group decides. It's distributed in the standard.
Yep, that's correct. It's subjective, but we can figure out different things as I see Zeugh putting up the charts. Okay, cool. We have the poll for level 4 up right now, and I see Zeugh has 3 votes. I have 1 vote from Zeugh, but Zeugh, I would encourage you to vote for I would encourage you to vote for yourself here, because I already.
I don't know how to change votes.
You can't
do anything.
You can. Okay, well, somebody else already voted for you, so it's all good. But if you wanted to, you could right-click on it, or if you're on mobile, then you can hold down and you can hit retract vote. So that's how you can change in the future.
Okay, I found it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Really appreciate everything you're doing. And now we can do level 3. And vote for you think should be level 3.
Oh shit.
Oh snap.
Oh snap.
I'm voting down because I'm not really sure I got exactly what Hodlon explained. I got kind of lost. I mean, at the time I thought I did, and now I was trying to think back, and I was like, okay, what? So
no, it's fine. I'm also jet lagged as fuck. I'm also jet lagged as fuck, and so you know, I'm doing my best.
And these meetings happen every week?
These meetings happen every week. Yep. every Thursday at 7
All right.
UTC. Everybody's welcome to join, and each week you get an opportunity to get more and more respect. So it's when you got a lower rank this week, then that can also be a reason to get a higher rank next week, because you say, oh, well, I did all that stuff. I deserve more respect and so forth.
Yeah. Hodlon will be less jet lagged, and we're looking forward to you to crush it next week, Hodlon.
Yeah.
It's funny because some weeks I feel like I barely done anything and I get the top ranking, and then I show up and I'm like, man, I did so much for optimism this week, and then I'm like at the bottom, and it really does just even out over time.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's a sample size kind of game. You do lots of tests and measurements and see how it averages out. And Hodlon is a very, very respected member of Optimism Fractal. He is among the highest levels. So I just put out the consensus results. We should probably try to be quick, and so we don't keep the other room waiting. But basically the way this works is you can hit where it says results can be submitted here, and you see that button here. If you click that and click open link, then it'll open up this website, optimismfractal.web.app, and then you hit the button continue, and then you'll see it should automatically fill the names of the accounts, or rather the like the addresses for each account, in the correct order, with it should be Jimi's account at the top, and then Abraham's account at the second top, and so forth. And it'll say 2 for room 2 at the top. So you don't have to do anything, but just you can confirm that it looks good to you, and then hit the submit button to submit on chain. And then within a week, then respect will be sent out according to the levels.
It says blockchain not ready.
I'm getting that error too.
Okay.
I was able to submit here, and guys, I'm gonna
got it
have to hop. Is there a next step here then that I should still hang by? I have another call. I got it too.
If you got it submitted, then that's all good. And what we'll do is we'll go back into the community room now, so we can troubleshoot that, because I think that Rosemary figured out what the issue was, that and we're already late. So we'll head back. If you got to get going right now, then Zeugh, thanks so much, and have a great day.
Bye, Zeugh.
Thank you.
Cheers, Zeugh. If I abruptly quit, it's because my phone, it's weird. I'm plugged into the charger, but the battery's going down to 1% now. It's a really terrible charger. It's like not as good as the usage.
No problem. Good luck.
But I will try to resubmit this.
Okay.
Should I just reload the same website?
Yeah, I guess try refreshing, and then I'll close the rooms, and we'll ask Rosemary there, because I know that she found like some solution for that. And so I'll ask her when we go back, and I'll see you back in the breakout room. Sound good? Or in the community room, I should say, not breakout room. Okay, cool. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Great room.
All right. Yeah, much love.
Okay, so when I refresh the main screen, I get a failed to load Web3 error, which is, I have not seen that before.
I think
I
doesn't it?
said blockchain not ready.
Yeah, and then when I go continue and submit, then it push on chain, it says blockchain not ready.
Okay. I remember, Hodlon, I was actually just listening to the breakout room that you had with, I think, Rosemary and Zaal back in like week 13 or week 15. And didn't Rosemary like diagnose that issue? Because that's the reason why I was saying that Rosemary knows that. I thought that she figured out like how that works. Like you had to do it in a specific order. Obviously, we should get this to work like much better and simpler, but it just is what it is right now with some issues. But I thought that she figured out like some specific way that
because it was
not work.
Because it was like you have to manually go to the chain, the Optimism chain, which I am. I'm trying to think and remember what that was exactly.
Okay, well,
Hodlon, I've had something similar also, where like if you have multiple wallets and they're plugins for a browser, sometimes like if it gets confused as to which plugin is first. So if you have a wallet that you want to use that isn't the first one that the browser picks, then you probably just have to disable the other wallets.
Yeah, let me disable that.
Yeah, that's work too.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yep, that was it. It just doesn't like competing wallets.
Yeah.
That was my first issue with Web3. I could not figure out why transactions would not pop up, and it was because like, yeah, I had 2 wallets installed.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. Hopefully, I don't know if Jimi that can help you, because Jimi was having that issue too. Also, welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful time. Good to see Pup now, and good to see Gabriel and Will and Zeus and Zaal and Rosemary. Hope that you had a really fun breakout room and very productive. Ours was really exciting. And we were just trying to diagnose some issues where people had issues with the transaction not being submitted. The way it works is that we need to have 2/3 consensus of transactions posted. So I'm curious if anybody else had any issues with the transactions posted, and if anybody needed help with that, or if that had resolved the issue. I think we figured out a fix. And also, Our apologies too for going a bit longer too. We're working on being more timely and more punctual, so we are getting back to the community room kind of late here. So we're already in the planning session. If anybody did need to go, of course, thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it. And if anybody needs to go, then feel free to hop off whenever. But we're going to be talking here at the planning session for another 20 minutes or so, and then we can kind of have an open discussion here. I know Zaal had some interesting topics I mentioned before that we can get into, and I see that Zaal raised his hand, so maybe I'll pass it to Zaal. But before we get fully into your topic, Zaal, I just want to just check to see if
Yes,
if,
we
if
reached
anybody's good.
consensus.
You reached consensus?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
And I confirm now, looking at the contract submission and transactions, that I see at least 5 submissions. So,
Okay, is that 5 submissions from your room or total?
yes, from mine.
Okay, cool. And I think that I still have to do mine, and I think that we had 2 issues. Jimmy and somebody, I think Hodlon was having an issue, but hopefully we can get that resolved. I think Hodlon fixed it. So ultimately, I think we should be good. I also want to check too before we get into Zaal's topic fully. And I don't know if Zaal, you want to mention your topic, because I very much want to talk about that, but would also love to hear feedback just about the first breakout room or second breakout room. I'm curious how, if it was fun, if everybody had a good time, and then also a lot of times when people join for the first time or haven't shared feedback, it'd just be cool if everybody wants to hear from them as well. Like, for example, I'm curious how Zeus and Pup thought of the process, and Jimmy also shared some thoughts in our breakout room. But and yeah, so I'm curious if anybody else wanted to share thoughts about general feedback and how you felt the process was.
Well, I'm always nervous to meet new faces and stuff like that, but pretty much that was it. But you guys are great, and I had a really good experience so far.
Awesome. Well, glad to hear. Thank you very much, Zeus, and glad you enjoyed it. I saw Pup, you unmuted too?
Yeah, so same on my end. It was I think it's a really great way to build community and to meet other developers and builders in the space. So I think it's really good that you guys are doing that weekly to get new people in, and it's a great way to onboard. Yeah, and great networking, I believe. So thanks for having me.
Excellent. You're very welcome. Thanks so much, Pup, and thanks so much, Zeus. And once
Thanks
again,
for
looking forward
showing
to
up.
learning your products. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for joining. And looking forward to learning more about your work and collaborating. And yeah, we meet every week on Thursday, 17 UTC, so everybody's welcome to join. All right, see some nice emojis, some claps and stuff like that. I see Rosemary saying you're all amazing and doing amazing work. Thank you. Very nice to hear. I don't want to keep Saul waiting for too long, but I know Jimmy also put his hands up too. So I suppose Zaal, if you want to go first, or Jimmy, you want to go first. But I would also ask Zaal if we could, maybe we'll hear from Jimmy first before we head fully into your topic. But if you want to just speak first, then Zaal, feel free to jump in. Or if Jimmy wants to go first, either way works.
Just super quick about the voting issue or the putting it on chain part. I'm on mobile, so I don't think that the workaround of like 2 wallets, I think, was the issue for Hodlon. But for me, I think I'm just using 1 wallet on my phone. Well, I technically have multiple wallets apps installed on my phone, but it's not like it's multiple Chrome extensions that can cause issues.
What are you using? You're using a wallet extension on a mobile Chrome browser?
No, just like MetaMask app.
On Chrome?
No, it's like an app on my phone. It's
Oh,
like
but sorry,
redirect
and
to-
then you're using Chrome. You're using like a
No,
Chrome.
it's the browser. MetaMask has its own browser.
Oh, it's a MetaMask browser.
It does have its own browser, but I didn't load it up in the browser. It can just like redirect to the app itself, and then
I feel like that is an edge case. I feel like that is like untested. I don't know, Dan, what you think, but I don't know if anybody else has used a MetaMask.
Oh, I do it on my
mobile.
phone
You do?
I do it on my phone every time. Yeah.
Same here.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, you do with the MetaMask on the phone. Okay.
I
use
just use Coinbase Wallet's browser. I just don't. MetaMask sometimes has issues for me, and I got a new phone, so I haven't actually added the MetaMask to this one. But I just like Coinbase Wallet a little more because the UI works better for me. But yeah, no, same thing with MetaMask. They both have their own like app. Like you can see your assets, and then you can also do like browser and browse while you're in the app. So it's like you're connected to your wallet already in the browser.
I think his phone died.
Yeah,
He said, he said his phone was dying and he just left.
That's fine. I can work with Jimmy in the background if we need to. But I think, from what I understand, he's not using the wallet browser, and he probably should.
Yeah, to be clear, I also do that a lot too. If you go, like, if I try to submit the transaction from Telegram, then it doesn't work necessarily for me because it has to like switch apps. But if I copy and paste a link on my phone from Telegram and then open up the MetaMask wallet and then go into the MetaMask browser and paste that in the browser, then it always works for me. So maybe that can be helpful ways to do it that you can relay along to Jimmy. And I appreciate if you can help with that, Will, if Jimmy is having an issue. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for all the feedback and ideas. And we're working, Tadas and Vlad are two awesome developers on Optimistics team who are working to improve this app experience. And we're also working on an app that, just like a general respect game app that anybody can play, and that works with Privy. So you'll be able to sign in with any application, like any kind of wallet easily, as well as email and stuff like that. So hopefully, I think we might have that done in the next few weeks. So that should hopefully make these issues a lot quicker, but appreciate everybody's patience and help with troubleshooting these issues. And then also, if anybody wanted to get involved with trying to diagnose and solve these issues as well, we'd really appreciate it. I shared that link to the developer developer hub, I called it, in the Notion page. So we already have, I think, an issue or like a task shared there as well. So that's some place where if anybody wanted to get involved and knew how to fix this, then we'd greatly appreciate it because it would make the meetings run smoother for both Optimism Fractal as well as any other community who wants to use this process in these games as well. I suppose I'll maybe just share like a very quick presentation, then pass it to you, Zaal. Does that sound good with you, Zaal? And did anybody else have any other thoughts on that topic before we move on?
Well, I had a new topic actually from our other breakout room that I also wanted to bring up real quick.
Okay.
So I initially thought that the concept of like where we were at with the meeting was that you essentially had to work together to reach consensus before the time ran out. And I was chatting with Rosemary a little bit earlier, and it sounds like there's nothing in place like that. I'm curious about talking about something like that as a thing, because I know she said there was about a 2-hour limit after you've reached consensus to have to push it on chain. But I think it would be prudent to put some sort of time limit in somewhat. It doesn't have to be like the hour, but because then that would incentivize people to work together to reach consensus, because if you don't reach consensus by the time, no one gets anything.
Yeah, good point,
That was
Zaal.
just a thought.
I see Hodlon's unmuted. Did you want to? I'm happy to respond to that, but if Hodlon or anybody else wants to jump in and share their thoughts about that as well, then feel free.
No, I'm thinking of a what's the word? Filibuster. I feel like that would open up to like a filibuster where somebody could just block. Well, yeah, I'm just thinking of like extreme cases where like, what if you can't come to consensus? And Zaal, what you're saying is putting a time limit in where like everybody loses all their points or doesn't get the respect points if you can't come to consensus while on the call. Is that it?
I think that's essentially what Zaal was saying, although I'm not sure if you heard your question there.
Because like we come to consensus and then we have to like put it on chain, but we've already come to consensus by the time. Go ahead, Zaal.
Yeah, no, exactly what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, so good points, and interesting you mention it. So this is like part of the original design, really, of the respect game. But before it was called the respect game, it used to be called just the fractal process and different names. And originally there was kind of like a harder timer, basically, that was in there. And there's the idea of like the ultimatum game. We previously talked about the Fractally white paper, which a lot of this is based off of. That's at fractally.com. And it explains how like basically there's that kind of mechanism and that kind of incentive to all reach consensus before the top of the hour. And so it kind of puts a bit more urgency on it and so forth. Right now, we do have the 2-hour limit, if you go to optimismfractal.com/details, then the way it currently works is that there is a 2-hour limit for the respect to be distributed. It says validity of breakout groups. It needs these requirements, basically. It needs to be within a 2-hour window and needs to have previously it was 4 to 6 consensus, but I think also Tadas made it simpler in saying 1 council member needs to do it, just for like technical reasons to make it simpler. But basically the idea is that consensus is submitted within the 2-hour window. Another thing that might be relevant to notice here too is that one of the developers from he was on the faculty team and now he's on the sync team, which is still developing this as well. This guy named James Mart, he's like a really great and thoughtful engineer. And he created this article. Maybe I'll show a link if anybody's interested in, but he created a new algorithm just about 2 months ago, and he called it a shared submission algorithm. And the idea of this, it's like a pretty long article, and it speaks about the Genesis fractal, which is the first group that experimented with this about 1.5 years ago. But basically the way that he said is that rather than having to reach consensus, like 4 to 6, you could just make it so you don't need to reach consensus. But you get more points, you get more respect basically if you do reach consensus. And this is something that can happen on and be calculated in the front end, I believe, or maybe on the blockchain. I think on the front end probably. And he mentioned how it could be done in a private way. But there's some really interesting ideas, and this is something we've been considering transitioning over to. It's a little bit more complex, but I think it's really like quite simple once it would be implemented. So it basically be like if you have more consensus, then you get a higher multiplier. Whereas if you got low consensus, then you just get a lower multiplier. So that could be one way to do it as well. And this is open to us designing it as well if we wanted to pick something like basically the way it works right now is if you don't get the submission within the 2 hours, then you have to make a proposal to the council, and in order to distribute the respect according to the rankings that were submitted 3 hours later or whatever. And then if we wanted to use that same council process, we have that now. So if we want to initialize any changes there, like having a 1-hour strict limit or having a new consensus algorithm like that, then we could also do that as well. And that might be worth making a project in the Notion page as well to coordinate thoughts about that and think about it and stuff like that, and also discussing more in future meetings to further explore those ideas. I see, by the way, Gabriel said, thanks for all guys, excited for what's come. So yeah, he's getting some great emojis. And Rosemary said, thanks for joining, excited for the future too. Zeus putting at the heart. I'm curious, Zaal and Hodlon, if you had any thoughts about that following up on it, or we have about 10 minutes left in the planning session as well. So if we want to move on to a next topic, such as the one that Zaal brought up last week, or if anybody else has anything in mind, then be happy to hear it. We can always schedule more talks for throughout the week or for next week's meeting and future meetings and discuss in Discord.
No, I just want to say like that, like what Zaal brought up and what you were talking about seems interesting, and we should just keep talking about it, or somebody can put something in the Notion, or we can discuss it, continue to discuss it. I think it's worth thinking about. It's interesting.
Agreed. I just want to bring it up as a thought, because that's just actually just how I thought we were rolling. But it makes sense that nothing's been decided yet, and I think that could be a cool conversation to keep in the works.
Yeah, I agree. If anybody wants to go ahead and write out their thoughts for that, or put a Notion, then feel free. We have both a topics database if you wanted to put in the topics database to kind of schedule it for a future meeting, or we have the projects or task database where you could write start up a project to consider it or create some tasks, or if you want to just write it anywhere else in the Notion as well, then feel free. And I'll probably also do it. I've been trying to do that after the planning sessions just to kind of curate some of the thoughts, and I'll share the link to that article and some other ideas there as well, and that's something we can consider. In today's meeting, we kind of just went a bit over because there was new people, and it's not the best practice to go over, but that's something we could for sure improve at in the future and figure out the best ways to make it work more effectively. I see.
Zeugh has his hands up and Paces too.
Yes, Zeus. I see Zaal put it down though. So Zeus, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I just wanted to potentially start about the discussion or the topic. I had read something about people that are controlling our bots on Optimism are being rewarded for creating volume. And I thought that was pretty cool. Is that something that's still going on as far as like something that you guys know about?
I have not heard about it. I'm not very familiar with the Arbitrum ecosystem. I mean, I've listened.
Not Arbitrum, but actually setting up arbitrage bots.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question then? I'm not sure if I understood.
Yeah, so basically, I had heard from another developer that in Optimism, I think it was Rubicon, had some grants or some type of incentivizing for people that are going to be running arbitrage bots, and they're basically getting rewarded for creating volume on chain. And I'm just curious if you could potentially touch on that topic.
Okay, I don't know if anybody has any insight about that, but I don't have insight about that. I'm not sure about it. I do have I created a list of different events going on in the Optimism community that I could share a link to because I'm sure there's, obviously there's some people who know about it, but there's a lot going on in the Optimism ecosystem. So personally, I don't know about it, but I could refer you to some other people or other events that you can go to or try asking people around, as well as if you want to make a post on could post on the Optimism Fractal Discord, but I'm not sure if anybody knows here. But feel free if anybody does know to speak up, or maybe just posting on the general Optimism governance, either Discord or the uh, a governance forum might be a good place to get an answer about that as well.
Cool. Yeah, just wanted to check in. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thanks for asking. And I wish you luck with that. Sounds like an interesting initiative. So hope that you can find the answers to that. I also saw that Will asked, "What is the Notion site?" And thank you, Hodlon, for sharing that. If anybody wanted access, by the way, to the Notion page, then let me know. If you want to send me a DM or something like that with your Notion login with your email. If you have one, you want to be able to participate. It is open, so anybody can see it and click around. But if people wanted like commenting permissions or anything like that, then feel free to let me know. And then I'll also share the link to that events. I don't know if that'd be helpful for you, Zeus. But there are some great events. Like for example, there's a bi-weekly call with the that most of the people in Optimism in the two houses join. That I imagine somebody there would probably know. So that might be a good place. And in case it's helpful, then maybe I'll share that link to different events as well here. All right, we have about 5-6 minutes left. I'm curious if anybody has any other thoughts on that or anything else. And also, Zaal, you said that you're going to share some topics about new consensus games and new forms of respect and about collaborating with musicians, implementing a respect game. And I know we don't have much time again this week too, so apologize if we didn't get the topic to as soon as you want, but I do think it's fascinating. And if you want to talk about it now, then be happy to, or if you wanted to save it for next week again, we can, or if you wanted to share some thoughts about it, and then we can talk about it a bit now and a bit next week as well, then that would be cool as well.
Yeah, so basically, with my brand and what we've been building, I found a lot of similarities to the respect game, and that's one thing because I'm starting to implement utilizing my community and getting on-chain loyalty in different capacities. I realized the respect game could be a really good opportunity to build different, like what Optimystics is doing, but build different consensus games and try out different things with musicians as its center instead of developers, and thinking of the concept of what did you contribute towards your music or Web3. And already what I'm doing with my brand is I have like one thing every day of the week, so I think it'd be really cool to add in something like a musician sharing respect like time, depending on what that time is, whether or not that's during our normal hour Zoom already that we do on Mondays or not. I think it'd be really cool to curate different events during the week that can earn you different forms of points in different ways that is just for being involved in different capacities, and also using these and showing these tools like fractogram and the ability to how easy it is to do something like adding points every week online for your contributions is to do, and kind of put more of a visibility on that. So one of the things I'm thinking of doing is doing like a Saturday or a Sunday musician, something that's related to our brand, but adding in like that's when we'll do respect points and start handing them out. So I'm kind of working on a couple of different ideas in the back end, but I also think it could be really cool to have that be like a once a month thing, and each month it's a different game, right? Or something like that. So I have a lot of cool ideas and things I would want to see it implemented, but I think it could be really cool in just implementing the respect game as it is right now to other groups, not just developers in Optimism or people in the Optimism ecosystem, but thinking about using this respect game in other capacities, like what I'm building over with music in Web3 and what other people are doing in gaming in Web3, and just using it as a different vessel for also kind of the startup and entrepreneurship space, because I think a lot of people right now are working in that, and also all these brand creators and anything to do in Web3 is kind of a form of that. So I think there's lots of opportunity for all of those to combine there, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think there's space to utilize these consensus games to get people to come together. People are already just coming together in Twitter Spaces, but I think if you rewarded people with a form of on-chain points, even though it literally could mean nothing, people will be interested because of that like mentality of gamification.
Great points. Thank you so much, Zaal. There's a lot we could dive into there. And so, yeah, what to say? So I'm wondering, because we only have a couple minutes left, and there's a lot I want to
No,
say.
it's
I
fine
was
because I
inspired.
kind of wanted, I more wanted to bring these ideas up because I'm probably not going to start implementing them for another 3 weeks anyways. So I kind of want to bring it up. I might not be at the next one, and the one after that is kind of when I would announce the week after for kind of something like that to combine Optimism Fractal and what I'm doing already. And yeah, no, I think it's just like words for food for thought. And if anyone has anything interesting to chat with me about, we can chat. I know, Dan, we could potentially chat after as well. So I'm not too concerned about any more things being brought up here, but I think it'd be really cool to explore the idea of utilizing the respect game in other capacities, not just what we're doing it right now. I think there's a lot of people we could just bring into Optimism Fractal by sharing that, team members, co-hosts, whatever. So yeah, just kind of my 2 cents.
All right, wonderful. Well, I really appreciate all that, all those thoughts, all. And yeah, so we've talked a lot about collaborating with musicians with what you're doing with Z Talent, and I think what you're doing is really exciting. So I'm very excited to collaborate with you there, and happy to talk more about it, both in future meetings or at other times that we can figure out offline. And then yeah, after listening to your talk last week, I listened to it again a couple days ago, and then I wrote some ideas. I think you mentioned that could be kind of like related to the ideas that Rosemary brought up about having like referral rewards. And I had the ideas about how like when people play the respect game, they could get respect for playing that. And also too, we will, I believe, have the next version of the app ready that makes it much easier for people to play without having to deploy their own software. Probably within the next couple weeks, maybe. I don't want to put too like I don't want to I guess put too aggressive timelines, but it's possible that could be done in the next couple weeks. So that might
Yeah,
work
and
out
that's
well with your schedule.
perfect for timing. And with like, I have an idea for just the one exact copy of the respect game in my brand, but then I'm also kind of like in just thinking that I've thought of like 3 or 4 ideas for ways we can transform that in different capacities and meld it to work with the communities that are out there already.
Okay, excellent. Well, that sounds super exciting. And yeah, of course, everybody in the community you're working to is welcome to join Optimism Fractal. And Optimism Fractal can be a great like hub to discuss these things. And so I'm looking forward to discussing the future. And then all the software we build is open source. And with this new tool we're building, we're aiming to make a website where anybody can just play without having to do any coding. Or if people want to do coding and like customize it to their own needs, then they could do as well. So I'm very excited to work with you and provide whatever kind of solutions would be most helpful for you. And yeah, I see immense potential. We talk about it. I see lots of people throwing out confetti cannons. So thank you, Rosemary and Hodlon and Zaal, for all the enthusiasm and stuff. Yeah, at Eden Fractal, we meet every Wednesday. Everybody's welcome to join Eden Fractal as well. Every Wednesday at 16 UTC, where we're working to basically research and develop and educate and gamify these processes that we're doing as well. Thanks, Will, for the confetti. So everybody's welcome to join these as well. And that's also a great place to talk about these initiatives. And our mission there is to implement these uh, decision-making tools and fractal consensus processing games and so forth throughout society. So I see immense potential for all different kinds of communities and organizations to use this. And Zaal, I really appreciate your leadership and everything you're doing to help empower musicians. And looking forward to collaborating with you. And then likewise, if anybody else wants to get involved, both at joining Optimism Fractal events, everybody's welcome, and everybody's welcome to invite friends. And then also, if anybody has ideas about how you could use in your community organization, then feel free to share. I see Rosemary said, appreciate the forward thinking. I do very much too. Thanks so much. And thanks, Rosemary, for following up with more links about the Optimism community calls, which are great resources to learn more about optimism as well. We are 2 minutes past the top of the hour, so we should probably wrap it up pretty soon. If anybody has any last thoughts, then feel free to share. I see Zeugh with the support too. Thank you very much. And thanks, Rosemary, for all the great resources. Does anybody have any last thoughts or comments before we wrap it up?
Thanks for the
Oh, was that Rosemary?
thanks for the great event. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks as always for being an amazing host.
Thank you. Thank you, Will. I really appreciate that. And thanks as always for all you do. Thanks, Pup, for the claps. It was a pleasure to meet you, Zeus and Pup, and so I'm very much looking forward to collaborating. Thanks so much, Hodlon, for all you do as well. And thanks so much, Rosemary. Thanks everybody so much for watching and being here. Oh, I've seen all the hearts. Feeling good about everything. Over to the heart too. Very nice to see. Okay, we got 5 hearts. 6 hearts. Wow. Hey.
Those are consensus hearts.
Consensus hearts. We have consensus on being heartwarming and loving, and now we have full consensus. I'll put it up as well. Unanimous consensus on the hearts.
That's 66%. The
Yeah.
66% threshold of hearts.
That's right. We all get love and respect. All right. Well, thanks everybody so much for the wonderful time. I'm looking forward to all the great things we'll do together. And we'll be here again next week on Thursday, 17 UTC each week. Look forward to seeing you there. Optimism Fractal. Really excited. So thanks everybody. All as we often end these meetings, I'll count down 3, 2, 1. We can say go Optimism Fractal if people are up for it. 3, 2, 1, 0. Go.
Go
Optimism Fractal.
Go Optimism Fractal.
Yeah. Woo.
All right. Thanks all. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.